Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Oh, that's crazy. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Wow. Oh, that's crazy. Okay. I just learned something. So apparently, I have to bring one screen up. Otherwise, I'm like in the background, but I know I've done this before. I don't know. Don't give me the line. But let me see. I had this up. And but can y'all hear me? We're going to wait for some folks to come in and get up in here. Do y'all like this lovely t-shirt that I got on the screen? I'm going to wait for some folks to get up in here. This is a nice shirt, fellas, to get your lady. Definitely a nice shirt. Y'all need to start doing Christmas shopping now. JH is in the building. What's poppin', King? He said, if you're talking, we still can't hear you, Miss T. I think I just fixed it. And then he said, you good now. And then he said, I can hear you now. So, yeah, one of the buttons or something like the background screen with the Terrence Crawford thing, I had to have that up or another thing up in order to be heard. And I didn't know it mattered because I've switched them out before, but I could be wrong. Anyway, now I know. Damn. And I had to get rid of the other one, and we had all y'all up in here. So I'm hoping everybody can come in, get up in here. What's good with you, Jade? You saw the fights this weekend? I'm in here pulling cords out and shit. Damn. I wish I could have figured it out. I was, man, damn. But anyway, what a rough start. But anywho, so we've been looking at their podcast, and like I said, shout outs to Bud for being out there, doing his best or his part to sell the fight, as well as Spence. They both out there, coming out of their shell, doing, something out of the ordinary, what they used to doing, just to sell a fight. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. We want them to be out there advertising and doing all that good stuff. Bud have been on Sway, Breakfast Club, $1 Million Worth of Game. I'm sure he did some local stuff. Who knows? But Spence, I got to get on him. Trying to wait for folks to get up in here. I'll give some a little bit more time. So I'm talking around in circles. But look, anybody who's watching the screen, head over to AskMeT51.com and get your Undisputed t-shirts. Get ready for this big fight, July 29th. Go on and name and claim who you think gonna win. Name it and claim it. Do you got Earl? I got a nice shirt made for him. And Bud got a nice shirt made for him. So go on and get your Undisputed. They come in different colors and everything. These are some nice tees that you can get your guy or your lady friend or your wife or your husband. But do go over to AskMeT51.com. Damn, where everybody at? They was coming through. Let me see. Okay. I'm gonna just go and get started. So thank you for those who did stick around. I apologize, technical, error, but hopefully, You want too bad. Like, I'll get you. Yeah, be coming in or whatever. But so as I'm listening to their interviews, one thing that give me pause about Earl is that he always in the past, we talk in the past, says things that I call it putting your foot in your mouth, said things unsolicited, things that nobody really asked him. And it always turned out to be kind of low-key condescending. Now, I'm not saying that nobody can't grow from this. You could definitely grow from this. You could definitely learn your lesson or get more mature and be cognitive of what you say, if you're thinking about everything you're saying. But now when he come out and speak, everything E Thriller had been saying, the Mac Mob, me, the Dudley Boys, I think they call them, Rebel, everything a lot of people have been saying, he leaving you little proof and nuggets that you was right. Everything the opposition been saying, we have debunked pretty much mostly everything they've said. When he got to the part when he was talking about he want Crawford, and I guess he's saying, as I'm laying in the bed, I'm hurting. They probably had him on some pain medicine, and only thing he can recall from that first 6 weeks in the hospital is that he kept asking for Crawford. He knows, maybe somebody told him later, but he knows that Al Heyman came to see him and his parents were there, but he wanted Crawford. Now, what do we do know? What's up down there, Lee? We know that prior to him having that accident where he flipped the car over, he was supposed to fight Danny Garcia next. Okay? The point of the Bud Buddies is, why isn't Bud next? Because at that moment in time, it was still strap season, was it not? And last time I checked, Danny didn't have a strap. You just beat Sean Porter for the strap that Danny and Sean Porter fought for. So fighting Danny Garcia is going backwards. Now, when I said this back then, and I would ask these questions, a lot of Earl sexuals would like avoid this question because they know I walked them right into their own hypocrisy. Errol Spence said some things, and I was like, dude, nobody asked you that. I told y'all he a lot of times say things that you didn't ask for, nobody solicited, he didn't have to say, and he wound up putting his foot in his mouth. But we was talking about the Danny fight. That Danny didn't have no strap, so why you pick him over Bud if it's strap season? Bud got the strap, so you should have went there. He said he in the hospital bed, and all he could think of is he won't Bud. He won't Bud. So somebody got to tell us, the fans, because inquiring minds want to know, who changed that. Y'all know, y'all have heard me say many a times that Errol Spence gives carte blanche authority of his career over to Al, like that's his husband or his daddy or something. Y'all know I've said that many times. And back then he was doing that. So when we say that Earl was ducking, because either you're ducking or your team ducking for you, but it still fall on your shoulders because you let it happen. You don't course correct. You understand? If somebody doing something in my name, on the vein of you speaking for me, it's up to me to course correct and fix some things. So you go from saying you want Crawford next to you want Danny next. The man that got beat by the man you beat. You beat Sean Porter, or you won, against Sean Porter. Sean Porter beat Danny first, and then you fought Sean Porter, and then you beat Sean Porter. Why go backwards? If in the hospital it was Crawford. Why go backwards? And who did that for you? Who said, look, I'm going to do this for Errol. He don't know what he talking about. He delirious right now. Now, this was his famous words. I don't take tune-ups. Tune-ups for some people who ain't sure of themselves. I don't know how any Errol Spence fan can listen to that and not consider that a low-key, condescending remark, or low-key, what you want to say, derogatory remark. Tune-ups have been part of boxing since forever. And it was not looked down upon for no fighter to have to take a tune-up. I'm sure Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Joe Louis, Jack Johnson, Sugar Ray Robinson, Jack Dempsey, Rocky Marciano, Tommy Hearns, Duran. I'm sure all of them have taken tune-ups. And nobody looked at them with the side eye for taking tune-ups. But now Errol Spence come along and he said tune-ups are for people who ain't sure of themselves. So all them fighters I just named that might have taken a tune-up or two back in the day, they not sure of themselves. Or because you human, if you set out for a while, you might have ring rust. Or if you coming off an injury, you want to ease back into the groove. Because if you sitting out for whatever your reasons are, you sitting out. You ain't as fresh and vigor as if you consistently fighting. So now tune-ups is a bad thing. It's a bad word until you point it right back at Errol. Now, mind you, he the one that told this story. I'm in the bed, I want Terrence Crawford. So somebody did something that you didn't want, and you agreed to it. Because I did see you, Errol Spence, in the ring with Danny Garcia. So who made that decision? And I asked the question before. Between Bud Crawford and Danny Garcia, make the comparison. Who is the tune-up and who is not? Between them two. And people, Errol sexuals get so into their feelings and be delusional about it to the point that they can't even admit that it's Danny. Nobody is looking at Danny and Bud saying Danny gonna beat Bud. Nobody's doing that. Danny couldn't beat Errol. He can't beat Bud. Point blank period. Pretty much most of the opponents that each of them had cannot beat the other one. Errol opponents cannot beat Bud. Bud opponents cannot beat Errol. That's why this fight is so dynamic and so big. But I asked that question before, and do you know I got the biggest pushback? Because none of the Errol fans wanted to say Danny was a tune-up. They looking at it like I'm putting Danny below, like I'm knocking him down a peg or two. I'm not. That's why I preferenced it with compared to Bud, who is the tune-up. This man is able to tell y'all some bullshit, have y'all front row seat to the bullshit, and then y'all act like y'all ain't see what just happened. I don't do tune-ups. Tune-ups for people. Now let me put my voice on like E Thriller. I don't do tune-ups. Tune-ups is for people who ain't sure of themselves. That what your boy said. And then turned right around and took a tune-up. Talking about who you gonna believe, your lying eyes or what you see. He Thrill, I see you in here. General Big Fish is in the building. Was Poppy King? He said the biggest boss. What up, Miss T? What's good with you? Tough Glove Boxing was popping, King. He said, what's good, Miss C? Errol Spence believing his fans. What's good, Miss C? Yeah. He proved I could not get no leeway with it. Miss T don't forget shit. Well, let me take that back. Once you have a baby, you be losing a couple of brain cells. I can forget stuff, but I wasn't even trying to be funny or anything when I asked that question. I don't forget stuff where people do stuff like, giving a lot of pushback and trying to debate stuff that's just obvious. You said, and I'm holding them to it. I don't do tune-ups. Tune-ups for people who ain't sure themselves. And turned right around and did a motherfucking tune-up. And his fans didn't see that. They think so hot, so low of Bud that they want to act like they didn't see that. When you know damn well, compared to Bud, when you talking about Danny and Bud is the elite and Danny is not. Danny is a great fighter. Elite not. Not at 147 neither. But even overall, when you talking in the likes of Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, didn't nobody think Danny was going to win against Errol Spence. And if he fought Crawford, we wouldn't think he going to win. So when I say Danny compared, that's the operative word, compared to Bud, who's the tune-up. So Errol Spence, you said that shit and you took a tune-up when you fought Danny. Now, that's what I gathered from his, that's one of the things I took away from his otherwise great little, interview that he did with $1 Million Worth of Game. He looked good. He was happy. And he's more relaxed. And I'm not critiquing him to the point that I want him to revert back. You're going to have some faux pas in your interviews because y'all not used to doing this. That is called, maturing past what you used to and stepping into something you're a little bit more uncomfortable, but for the betterment of you to sell the fight. But you lied. You'll tell your fans any motherfucking thing, and they'll believe everything you say. Cause I'm like, tune-up, since when was that a bad thing? Tough Glove said, you right. I never considered Danny a tune-up nut when you think about it. Yeah, but I got what you meant. He's not. You can take fighters like if you're an elite fighter and you, let me see, I ain't gonna even put Ryan Garcia out there, or as he Thriller call him, Ryan Kardashian. I'm not even gonna put him out there. I'm trying to think of a fighter that you just want to get your feet, like Formella. When Sean Porter fought Formella, that you can call that a tune-up. Even if Sean never fought him, I would have said Formella was a tune-up for anybody. We don't know him. He hasn't made a splash in the division or in boxing, and he probably never will. But I guess he's better than me. Between me and Formella, I'm the motherfucking tune-up. But, Earl fans could not say that to save their life because they want to fashion it in, oh, you talking about Danny, you putting down Danny. And never was I ever putting down Danny. But compared to Bud Crawford, Danny don't hold a candle. He don't hold a candle to Bud Crawford. And if your choice was Danny or Bud, you took a tune-up, nigga. But you didn't have to tell us that when you was in the hospital, you kept saying you wanted Bud. This is what I mean by he gave information unsolicited. But I'm glad he did. I'm not like, I don't want Errol Spence to think it's a terrible thing. And most of the time, the people be, on these YouTube channels, they be yelling at the other YouTube channels or yelling at the people that come through the chat and everything based on what they be saying. It's like your fans are worse than you. But I always say attitude reflect leadership. I always say that. Your fans are a reflection of you. If they couldn't see that, like you straight up lied to them. I swear it is the Eddie Murphy routine when the woman walked in and saw her man with the dick in his hand and fucking the other lady, and he said, "Who you gonna believe, your man or your lying eyes?" He's gonna be like, "My man." What? That's exactly kind of what he did to y'all. He ain't do it to me because I saw it for what it was. A lot of us saw it for what it was. You took Andrew Charles. I see you in the building. My bad. What's popping, King? He's like, what's good, Miss T? He motherfucking took a tune-up. At the same time, putting down tune-ups. So his fans can go forward and call people amnesian and amnesia and every name but their own name. Well, so we can continue this. What about your resume? I don't think he got a better resume than me. What? Bud takes tune-ups. Who he fighting? The cab driver? Who you fighting? As opposed to Bud. But we here now. I get it. We here now. But I gotta, when the point is made, I gotta go back. And like I said, his interview clued me in on that. I was like, oh, really? Because I didn't know that you, after the accident, was asking for Bud. You could have been delirious or whatever, because you said it was in your first 6 weeks in the hospital, and you don't remember really. This is what people had to come back and tell you. But when you got out, you still wanted Bud. But your people didn't want Bud. You know, E-Thriller got a 19-part series that shows you how Errol ducked him all these years. But I see Errol in some of his videos, and he doesn't harp on it, but he still go back to some of them old talking points. And that's why I got to point this out. You took a tune-up, dog, in the same breath as talking down about a tune-up. And your fans follow suit, not even knowing what they just witnessed. They know, but they don't want to know. And that's how you know they're leading, and their decision is not like real boxing fans. They're not like real boxing fans because they're leading with their heart and emotions. There's no way you can listen to what he said and don't have that conclusion. I didn't need him to say in the $1 million worth of game interview that he was he was wanting Bud, and he kept, I guess daydreaming about Bud. I don't know. I didn't need him to say that. I knew when he said the statement tune up, and I knew that was another ploy on Bud about his resume and the B level or C level fighters that Bud supposedly be facing. Somebody else brought it up that he called him Kunta Kinte. Now, if his fans wasn't so delusional and crazy, I could take that and just let it go in one ear and out the other. But you watch how that thing spin out of control. Kunta Kinte, Toby. They already called him Toby. I see you, WJ say, I'm back. I'm a back. Said, salute, go Thriller. Said, D and C level. Yeah. I could let that go through one ear and one out. I could be like, oh, that's a little nice, ha. He made it funny. But knowing how his fans gonna take that and spin that thing, I can't. I have to mention it. But maybe that was his way of drumming up the fight. It don't matter what did Bud say. All you got to do is touch my pride. I see he ain't doing that shit. All you got to do, Earl, is touch his pride. And see, watch what happened. But I was right. I was right. And I need y'all Earls fans to say it with me. You was right, Miss T. It'll make you feel better. Say it with me. General said more exhibitions than Floyd. When I say show enough, you say show enough. He took a tune-up. He put down the tune-ups and then he took one. That's weird. That's weird. The dudes say some weird shit. But hey, I don't think that it went didn't like it. Don't think that it escaped my mind about that. Cause I was like, nigga, didn't you just say what the fuck? And then he was trying to sell, he was testing the waters. Cause he know what them people doing for him. He was testing the waters to see if the American public was gonna bite off on that Keith Thurman fight for 154 for no belts. And we was like, hell no. And I'm one of them. I was like, I would call Congress like a motherfucker. I'm from Virginia. I go back home and ride right up to D.C. and go sit my ass right in one of those congressmen's rooms. I'll pick the one who don't get much attention and tell them how these sanctioning bodies ain't following the 501c plan. While Uncle Sam ain't taxing the hell out them. Now, I'm going to tell you another thing I picked up that he been saying in his interviews and stuff. And he right. He right. But, and I ain't going to hop on it too much because I don't want no bad juju to get on him. He just, Earl, everything is timing. Everything is timing. Stop talking about them fucking belts in a way that you know the presidents of those belts ain't gonna like. Stop doing that. You hurt yourself. You know, and people will say, Miss T, why you try to help him? I don't dislike Earl. You know, my friend Destiny, she was like, Miss T, why are you trying to get him help? I don't dislike him. I want to see this fight. I want them to both be healthy. I don't want no excuses. But I would love it if he pick a better time to talk about his cause or what he find near and dear to his heart. He ain't wrong, but he picking the wrong time. He need a publicist or something. He probably got one, but he need a 24/7 publicist. That dude, the publicist need to have a little bed next to him and his girl bed, so he can watch everything he say. So as a recap, would everybody agree that Errol Spence took a tune-up when he fought Danny Garcia as opposed to what he could have picked? Because remember, it was strap season. Danny didn't have no strap. Danny got beat by the man you just beat. So you was going backwards. That's tune-up. That's tune-up all day. You didn't even think you was going to lose. It's easy to be real confident about some shit you know. You know you could beat Danny. Danny knew you could beat him. I give it to Danny, though, because Danny be avoiding, but then Danny was like, shit, I just got to man up and face him. And he did. Yes, it is, Big Fish. That's a tune-up compared to Crawford. And that's, you can't leave the compared to Crawford part out. Danny by himself is not a tune-up. I'll agree. But Danny compared to Crawford, and then the choices he had, he took a tune-up. And turned right around and told all of y'all, and y'all lapped it up like crazy. Oh, tune-ups so for folks who ain't sure of themselves. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm sure of myself. So let me take this tune-up. But y'all didn't see that. He sure did took one in front of y'all, and y'all was like, "Ooh, yeah, tune-ups for suckers, tune-ups for B and C level fighters, not the big fish." Crawford was on the other side. Stop. That ain't got nothing to do with it, big fish. That ain't got nothing to do with it. Crawford is always on the other side. Right now, he on the other side. When has he not been on the other side? If you ain't with PBC, you on another side. WJ said, yeah, both Danny and Mikey should have never been in the question. Earl should have fought Bud since it was strap season. Exactly, Fish. Big Fish, you cannot wiggle your way out of this one. Another thing that Earl keeps saying too is he keep talking about Sean Porter. That's his go-to. Like Sean Porter is his validating authority on what narrative he want to say. Sean Porter just did a podcast recently. Okay, you want to know how recent? This month recent. At the end of last month. Days before the first week in June, because Andre Ward's show was coming out in a couple of days when I saw this podcast with Sean Porter, which was fairly new. And Andre Ward's documentary came on, was it Showtime or HBO? One of them. I think it was Showtime on June 2nd or June 3rd, one of those. So he did an interview with the Porterway podcast. Now, Sean Porter explained that he would have normally uploaded it to his Patreon, but he went on ahead and gave it to the regular YouTube. Now Andre got on the subject about his retiring. I wish I could play the video, but all y'all got to do is go find the Porterway podcast. If I'm lying, I'm flying, because I know I ain't lying. I know what I saw. And Andre, told what made him, the steps and the things that went on that led him to retirement. So Sean, for whatever reason, he didn't have to decide to weigh in on that too. So he want to talk about what led him to retirement. And wouldn't you know, he dropped the nugget. It just shows that them Errol sexuals and most of them Errol fans, not everybody, would go through great lengths to prove a point and to lie, and they shouldn't have to. If you all that, you ain't gotta do all that. WJ said Jeff Horn was on the other side of the street too, but Earl wanted to unify with Horn right after he won the WBO strap from Pacquiao. And that is absolutely true. WJ and E Thriller got the video to support that. He did say that. So what Sean said is when he wanted to retire, this is something that he discussed between him and his wife, as he should. It's his body. His daddy is his daddy, but it's his body, it's his career. Sean wanted to retire. And this is way before the Earl fight. And Sean was like, he have his talks with God, as we all do. And Sean was like, okay, I'm going to tell you what. He made his benchmark. Once I fight Earl, I'm done. I'm retired after that. So my question to the Earl fans and the Earl sexuals, that narrative that you pushed, that he was halfway in, halfway out, here go Earl. Even his daddy said he ain't, even Sean said he ain't do everything his daddy say. That don't mean that you didn't train. But I get it. The Earl fans hear what they want to hear. If you say to me or about me, T even said she don't even do what her daddy said do. You would be saying a factual statement. Not all the time. I most of the time listen to my parents. but sometimes I don't. So you would be saying a factual statement, but that don't mean that T didn't get up and take her ass to work every day. That don't mean that T didn't run her house the way it's supposed to be ran. But that didn't mean that T had 1 foot in and 1 foot out of motherhood and shit. Y'all see where I'm going with this? I don't know how Sean saying he didn't do everything that his daddy said to do conclude with he didn't go hard in the paint in training. He didn't train. He half-ass trained. Javante Davis was in training camp with him. You never once heard Javante say they half-stepping over there. Never once heard him say that. Matter of fact, when you did see the 24/7, and I know that's not the name of the program, it's the only name I could think of, but when you saw the little 24/7 like program that they had, all you saw was them saying, we ready. We getting it in. We ready. Never once did they allude to the fact that they're just not ready to take on a task like this. Who in their fucking right mind go in the ring with Bud half cocked? I mean, how arrogant can you be? Bud ain't nothing, but Spence is going to train the hardest he ever trained. You said all access, I got you. Thanks. But he not nothing. But he gonna train the hardest he gonna ever train. But Sean Porter won't. Sean Porter didn't, and mainly because Sean Porter was 1 foot out the door because he wanted to retire prior to fighting Bud. No, Spence, he wanted to retire prior to fighting you, and that's out his own mouth. So why you keep that story going on? These are the only parts about Errol's interview that I was like, well, why do you do that? I could care less if Errol went in there and put down Bud and said, we're going to smoke and cook his ass. We're going to blah, blah, blah. That's what you're supposed to do. I ain't tripping on none of that. Talk your shit, Errol. Just like Bud talking, you talk back. But keeping the same old narratives that you know is bullshit to explain why he won. Why you just can't say the nigga beat his ass and he beat him better than you did? Why it's got to be, even if I knew that Sean Porter wanted to retire before he fought Bud, I would never bring that up as an excuse. Whether it would hurt Bud or help Bud, it just ain't no point. Even if I knew that now that we do know that he actually wanted to retire before he fought Errol, even if I knew that, I wouldn't bring it up. I'd be like, Errol beat your ass. I mean, you supposed to, and one can argue that Sean Porter, some people see that he won that fight. But the decision is the decision. So I'm going along with what the decision was. Errol won. Never mind that Sean Porter wanted to retire before he fought Errol. And that's out Sean Porter's own mouth. Fuck what Kenny say. That's out Sean's mouth. Sean also went on to say Kenny didn't know. That's out Sean's mouth. Again, I'm telling y'all where to go look that up. The Porter Way podcast, when Sean Porter by himself was interviewing Andre Ward, Sean said that out his own mouth. He said, my dad didn't know. Because even after he said he was going to retire at the press conference, he said him and his wife talked and said, how you think that went? How you think he is? He said, my dad was in the hotel with us like he normally do and was talking to us and all that. But it seemed like he didn't want to leave because he knew that was the end. Like, in other words, he knew that was it. That was the end. This is the last time we're going to meet like this for this occasions, for these type of occasions. You know what I'm saying? And maybe Kenny Porter was ready. Kenny took off guard. But Kenny Porter is a grown man, and he know his son is a grown man. And his son made a decision for himself and his family. he consulted who he needed to consult, which was his wife, talking Sean. And Sean talked about when the fight with Earl was over, he was like, "That's it, Lord. I'm done. That's it." And he said God spoke to him. Not literally, y'all. You know how we talk to God. But he said God let him know, you ain't done. It's not over yet. You got one more. So if the narrative is that he went half cock or half ass with Bud, because that's the only way Bud can beat him. Because in a sense, Earl said that because he said, how we look at we go 2 for nail. He go 2 for nail with me, but look how he went with Bud. Bud is there's a reason, Errol Spence, and the reason is Bud is better than you when it comes to this boxing here. How Floyd say, when it comes to boxing, I'm the king to this shit. Or something like that. Because Bud is. Bud beat him better because he is better. He has more tools. This is what we talk about. He had an answer for his football tactics, his bum rushing. John Porter always say he just fight to make people uncomfortable, put you in an uncomfortable position, and that's how he can take his leverage over you. He tried it with Bud. It didn't work. He tried it with you, and it worked. But because you so arrogant and your people so arrogant, it got to be a reason other than the fact Bud just got them kind of skills. Y'all talking about what Kenny said this, Kenny said. Go by what the man who was in the ring with him said. And here lately, Sean picking Crawford to win. Maybe Sean held his tongue. Everybody been having their polite shoes on. They've been real nice as to not spook them away, meaning Team Earl and PBC. But now the fight is done. We'll know when everything real done that last week when the press conference. Because I think Bud gonna switch it off, like all that niceness going out the door. Errol Spence, you showed your hand in your interviews, and you didn't think you were. And some of y'all gonna say, Miss T, you reaching. I'm not reaching. Anybody looking at me on replay gonna be like, Miss T, you reaching. I'm not reaching. Y'all know he showed his hand. Recap. Tune-ups are for people who ain't sure of themselves. And then you turn around and take a tune-up. Because if you compare Danny to the other choice you had, who did have the strap, because it's strap season, then Danny would be the tune-up. He not the champion. Danny got beat by the man you just beat. That's going backwards. So you did take a tune-up after all. As I said, and I'm a Bud buddy, so you proved me right. You know, you've been proving me right. When you try to sneak past that little Thurman thing, y'all went to the WBC on the 14th, but you said you was going to be fighting on the 19th regardless of November. But on the 14th, you went and asked for special provisions. And if any one of y'all to say, but his people asked, well, he a grown man. You got to take the onus on yourself. I don't let nobody speak for me, especially when they talking out the side of their neck. If you gonna speak for me, speak for me. If that's not, and I don't doubt that he was in the bed saying, oh, I want that Crawford fight, and telling Al, like after his accident, I'm no way, shape, or form saying that didn't happen. I believe him, but once he said that, I said, prove my point. Y'all the ones that duck it. Because you said that, and they did something different, and you let it happen. Mosquito spray is in the building. What's poppin', King said. Shout out to Miss T in the chat. Talk that shit, Miss T. You let it happen. You know, but I guess you starting to listen to some of the people that's in opposition of you and what you're doing. You know, and it's always good to listen to the other side. I do too. I don't know everything, but you proved it, bud. But you be proving us right all the time. And go by what Sean said. Stop regurgitating that bullshit ass narrative. I don't know which one of your YouTube channels told you to say that bullshit. He had one foot out the door. He was practically retired. So he didn't train hard. Who does that? Who does that? But you gonna train hard as a bitch for this Bud fight. But Sean Porter wouldn't. When did Sean lose his integrity? Or him, when did he become a dishonest broker? Where he gonna say he ready for a fight and he really won't. And who in the hell would get in the ring with somebody like a Terrence Crawford, half cocked, the nigga who knocked everybody out at 147, regardless of what you think they are? You cannot say this man don't got talent. But Sean Porter, a seasoned vet, a seasoned fighter, is going to get in the ring with an elite fighter, half-ass. Kenny Porter saw his son probably life flash before his eyes, probably for the first time. You mad because they didn't see that when you was fighting them. Sometimes that's what I think. They didn't see no danger with fighting you. Bruce Ennis want to fight you. He sees something. Mikey Garcia, he saw something. You know what I'm saying? You went tooth and nails with Kell Brook coming off an eye injury months after the fact. And went tooth and nails. Bud fought him after a 3 straight winning streak. Now you hear Kell Brook give the edge to Spence. It's his choice to do so. I ain't mad at him. Got really nothing much negative, but I know Kell Brook probably don't like the Crawford, Team Crawford and him over there, because y'all remember how heated it was when Kell and Amir met up. And where was Amir? In Crawford's and them camp. So I don't expect no love lost between them two. WJ said, "What up, Mosquito?" He said, "What up?" So Earl, pick another narrative before you go on the airways and say whatever. Because you're perpetuating bullshit. Sean Porter was ready to retire before he fought you. And he said that out his mouth. Not Bud, you, Errol Spence. So say that and see if that narrative still stands. So I just pointed out 1, 2, basically like 3 things where us Bud Buddies was right all along, getting the pushback and everything from you Spence sexuals or Spence fans. It's all right. We live to shine light. Let the light shine. Do not say shit till you write your own rhyme. Goddamn hoe. Y'all remember that? Now, I would like to direct y'all eyes to the middle of the screen. And you see this lovely t-shirt? If my man got me this t-shirt, I would love this t-shirt. I ain't even gonna front. I am a dime in a room full of pennies. Hashtag know your worth. Head on over to, I thought I had the banner up. AskMeT51.com. Get your undisputed shirts. Go on over there and get your undisputed shirts and some other gems that is going to be filled up in the store for Christmas. Going to be a one-shop stop. If you're a gadget and gadget person, this is the store for you. I don't have many clothes in there, but I got some clothes. Yes, I built this store. So head on over there and hook yourself up. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I got any other stuff. Look at this one. If you can't see it down there, say hashtag sauce. Cause he's spicy like that, right? Y'all head on over there and get y'all t-shirts. This is the Undisputed shirt. This is what it look like. It's got the little fade behind the Undisputed, like the shadow. And that's Buzz initial and his name underneath. Undisputed 2023. Y'all go on and cop y'all shirts. This how it look when it come in black. Look at that shit. That's the symbol. Ain't that shit bad as a mofo? Y'all better go get y'all's while the supplies last. Anywho, I dropped the link. I believe I did. Oh, no, I didn't. I dropped the link if you want to come in and say something or whatever. Otherwise, I'm going to move on and talk about this weekend fight. I didn't catch all the fights. I did catch Regis. First of all, Regis, you look really good in the yellow, the jumpsuit part. I didn't know about the black and white design in the middle of the short, but you look good overall. Beautiful kids and everything. Now, Regis is another one. I'm gonna give you some constructive criticism. Regis take pictures. Mosquito spray. I wonder if you agree with me. He do a lot of shit like taking pictures, like showing out. You know how niggas be trying to be like, yo, like I'm that nigga and jerking your head and making these moves, thinking you look sweet and all that. Cut the crap, Regis. Cut the crap. You know what I'm saying? This dude that he was fighting, Zorilla, it was awkward. I would say this, the man fought his height. He used his height, and he seemed like he got long arms, and apparently he do got some power because Regis won't running up in that bitch. So he was stabbing that jab, but he wanted to do that straight. And that first knockdown, that was a knockdown. And like this is what I love about Regis. You don't hear too much negativity about Regis after the fight. Like I'm talking about just the fight, like people talking about the fight, because he told the truth. You see how easy it is to tell the truth. Tell the truth, saying the devil. You know what I'm saying? Tell the truth. Move past it. You got your belt. You still got your belts. You live to fight another day. Nobody's perfect. Just because you lose is not the end of your career. It don't mean you not nothing. If you was to lose. Regis said that was a knockdown. He also know it's already recorded. They're not going to go back and change it. So y'all can sit there and debate. Y'all wasting y'all time. He even saw it and said, well, from this point of view, yeah, that was a knockdown. ATX Slab Life Cletus, a.k.a. Big Texas. What's poppin', King? He said, yo, what's poppin', Miss T? What's good with you? But, yeah, Regis said, hey, yeah, from this point of view, I can say, yeah, that was a knockdown. He said, he caught me with a couple of, he said, I got to go back and work on some things, like cutting off the ring and all that. And I think it's the dude's stature, or the dude was in there to me surviving, but he could have won. When you got that kind of talent where you can keep a motherfucker off you, because Regis tried to get to him, but he couldn't. So that told me right there, the dude got some kind of talent. I will never begrudge somebody from moving around in the ring, lateral movements and shit. I would never. Hold on, y'all. Y'all, this damn noise outside. Oh, big ass 18-wheeler on my street. Cause I was like, is that the trash man? Yeah. Did we put the trash out? But anyway, yeah, dude, I give dude some talent, you know, cause like he kept Regis off him, and Regis just couldn't get to him. Could not get to him. And now the dude feet, If it's working for him, it's working for him. But he looked like he crosses his feet sometimes. He definitely a person who can get off balance. So somebody like a Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford, one of the elite fighters, they would have got him. Regis, you up there, but I don't know sometimes. To be honest, are you considered elite? You definitely better than a lot of people in your division, but I don't know. But he was humble. He said he got to go back and work on some things. And dude was trying to survive. Now I didn't like the dude's facial expression at the end of the fight. Like, really? Seriously? I won that fight. No, nigga, you did not win that fight. You ain't throw enough. And if Regis described you like running, and for all intents and purposes, somebody else will describe you like that, like you're running. But again, we gotta be careful about those words because it's lateral movement, ring IQ, and ring generalship, and you're supposed to do that's part of boxing. So I'm not gonna say he was running, but he wasn't engaged in the fight, and he didn't seem like he wanted to. He did seem like he was trying to survive, but I give him the kudos for the fact that anybody who fight this man, I don't know how you get to him because it's not like he got pillow fists. Because if he did, Regis would have came in regardless. But they both were in shape. That dude did that shit all 12 rounds. Regis was in shape and all that. And I don't want to see that fight again. It was boring overall. I don't know how y'all felt about it. What y'all think? I mean, that's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. Shout out to Regis for maintaining his belt. He was honest. He said it's hard to fight in his hometown because he was nervous and, all the stuff that you got to do. And he said it's the hardest. So I would think Regis would probably rather go fight somewhere else because he seemed like that he could shake the cobwebs off or the nervousness off. There's so much pressure to do good and sell out in your hometown because if you don't, boxing world gonna talk about you like a wet food stamp. They really are. They're gonna talk about you can't even. And when Earl said Sean Porter couldn't even sell out to a ham sandwich or some shit he said. Talking about stuff. This is back in the day when when Errol Spence liked to low key condescend and put people down. Somebody tried to chime in, but the thing didn't work or something. I heard it pop. Oop. Let me put the link, down, But when he speaks, I would say overall it was a good interview. But I love when Earl speaks because he dropped nuggets. He dropped nuggets. Showing that he lied. Like whenever Earl low-key put somebody down, y'all just might as well start saying he project a lot. That's how I'm gonna look at it. You projecting something, Earl. I don't know what it is yet, but you projecting. Because that, tune-up shit came out of left field. For people who ain't sure of themselves. And then turn right around in everybody's face and pulled a Houdini and motherfucking took a tune-up in Danny Garcia. Compared to the choices he had, Danny was a tune-up. Danny by himself just out the blue, no. But compared to who Errol had a choice between, yeah, he was a tune-up. What's up, Boxing God 7? Welcome to the building. He said first time here, just subscribe. I appreciate y'all. I dropped the link. Y'all come through and holler at your girl if you want to. Tell me what y'all think. I miss all them fights, but I'm going to go back and see if I can see it because it wasn't pay-per-view and I got the zone. So I think the zone will show the fights later. And I meant to see them, but for some reason I I ain't see him or something. When I finally tuned in, whatever, Regis was about to come out or something. But I enjoyed the fight. Yeah, this the symbol. This the symbol on Undisputed. Not the video, not this a T-shirt that you can get. Let me put up them T-shirts again. Look, this one of the T-shirts. Let me see. Let me see. This is one of the T-shirts. I am a dime in a room full of pennies. Hashtag know your worth. I love that damn shirt. If y'all don't hurry up and get y'all women these T-shirts, I don't know what to tell you. Now this cute on the dude. Hashtag sauce. I mean, you spicy. You got that. Hashtag sauce. You're dripping hot. Y'all go up in there and see what you like. There's other stuff in there. There's more to come too. There's other stuff in there like gadgets and gadgets. Like I'm telling you, I love me some gadgets. If I go Christmas shopping, that's the store I want to go to, the gadget and gadget store. Y'all always hear me on here talking about, I done bought a water cooler for my room. How much gadget and gadget can I be? You got the money, big fish. I just see you living off up in the house. What's up? You got tell me something. You wish you had the money. What you talking about, big fish? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. We can hear you
Can,
now.
you can hear what was I couldn't hear what you said.
I said, what you talking about? I wish I had the money for a good shirt like these. You got
I
the
didn't say I didn't say that.
is that oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Damn.
Nah, nah. Nah, I didn't say that. Nah, you you
I
heard
saw the
nah.
GE. I saw the GE and I assumed. Well,
Okay, nah, you know I'm a show love Miss T. Nah, I wouldn't say no shit like that.
I was like, nigga, what you talking about? This shirt is perfect for you right here. He said,
uh
Jim I Ark, welcome to the building.
yeah, what's going on, boss T?
Ain't nothing much. Ain't nothing much.
See,
Look.
see,
He said
it's it.
that dime in the room full of penny shirts is pretty fly. You saw that one, big fish?
Yeah, I seen
Yeah.
dime in a room full of pennies.
I'm telling you, every bitch want to wear that shit. I didn't tested it out.
Oh yeah.
Bitches think they a dime. We know we dimes.
Yeah.
Even if y'all don't say it, we just need one or two confirmations.
Yeah, I can
That's
dig
it.
it. Yeah, that's a cold shirt.
Yeah. But what's good with you? What you think of the fights this weekend, or what I was saying about Errol Spence?
I didn't catch the Regis fight. I talked to Mosquito Spray about it, and from his opinion, the opponent, did a whole lot of what you call lateral movement, and it was pretty. He described it as worse than what Boots and Karen went through. So that's all I heard about it. So I really can't speak on that. Um,
Yeah,
what you were
Boots and
saying,
Chimichanga.
the other topics that you were speaking on, you had me rolling and cracking up. I'm one of the members of the board of the Earl Central community, so I felt like everything you said was directed towards me and my group.
Ah, nah, you just you you just the only one to show up. You brave like that. But Big Fish, if you remember back in the day, I was like, didn't he take a tune up with Danny? I know I've said that. I probably said it on your brother's show, but I know I've said it here. And everybody
See,
was like, no, PGH, where you at, dog? He was like, no, Danny ain't no tune up. And I was like, stay within the context of what I'm speaking. Compared, just take the two and compare them. Who would be the tune up?
but if you compare Danny Garcia versus Terrence Crawford, you want to describe it that way. I could see your argument in that, but that's your perspective. My perspective would be like I said in the chat. Why would I waste time and playing with Bob Arum and Terrence Crawford when I know I can go ahead and give me a good easy payday? And again, Miss T, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
talking about what I want. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
talking about at the state of boxing and what I see and how most boxers and promoters and advisors operate. The money is the bottom line when it comes down to it. So the easier fight to make was with Danny Garcia at the time. So then, if you want to say, okay, well, if he shouldn't have fought Danny Garcia, then he could have still skipped Terrence Crawford and fought Manny Pacquiao at the time, I believe, who had the belt, which he was. In, we see that he was in the works and fighting pretty soon anyway. So Terrence Crawford wouldn't have been in the play anyway, Miss T. So I hear what you're saying about Danny Garcia, but even at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I don't know what your definition of a tune-up guy would be, but to me, Danny Garcia was still a a good fighter, former champion,
Mm-hmm.
and was still in his prime. So I wouldn't consider that a tune-up. Somebody like an Avanesian who's never been a champion before in this T, and ranked not even in the top five in most sanctioning bodies at welterweight. That's more of a tune-up than Danny Garcia. But I will give you a little bit just out of the whole pie. I'll give you like 10% of that
Mm-hmm.
slice on your point because I don't agree with it, but I can see your perspective, but I just disagree with it.
Well, I feel you, but again, just so everybody clear, I'm not calling Danny, like if we just talking about Danny Garcia right now solo, he's not a
Mm-hmm.
tune-up type person. You wouldn't classify him as that. That's why I say you have to add that compared to Terrence Crawford. Then I have to ask you, Big Fish, then why even say that tune-ups are for people who ain't sure of themselves?
That's
Why
what
even say that?
That's what I because again, he doesn't consider Danny Garcia as a tune-up for possibly the reasons that I just mentioned. Danny Garcia isn't an easy out, as David Benavidez, or Jose Benavidez. I'm sorry, he wiped him out, Miss T. So David Danny Garcia is still a top level fighter. He made a Bud opponent who gave Bud a little bit of trouble for what 10, 11 rounds. He wiped him out completely.
And if
He Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, I'm sorry. No, I was
No,
just
no,
gonna
go ahead.
if it was the wrong side of the street, how was he gonna get a fight with Pacquiao? Pacquiao was with Top Rank.
With Earl,
If Earl was you said he don't consider Danny a tune up, but he was either gonna fight Danny or he would have tried to fight Pacquiao. But Pacquiao's on the wrong side of the street. So if you can't get Bud, how you gonna get Pacquiao?
I
If the
was
reason
Manny
being is the
Manny
wrong side of
Pacquiao.
the street.
At this moment in time on the timeline, if I'm not mistaken, Manny Pacquiao wasn't with Bob Arum anymore because this is after Manny Pacquiao fought Floyd Mayweather, so he wasn't with Bob Arum anymore. So that would have been an easier fight to make, which they did make. The only reason why he didn't fight Manny Pacquiao is because he got hurt in sparring.
I think
So
he
man,
was Big Fish because you know what? When he got the fight with Manny Pacquiao, you know what he said? Don't blame me, blame Bob. Didn't he say that?
I don't remember that. You could be right,
Yeah, I
but
don't remember.
like I said,
Do anybody remember
I
that?
don't know for sure. But I thought once he left Bob Arum, that was it. He fought.
I think at that time he was still with Bob. I think.
He fought.
Y'all in the chat correct us if we wrong.
He fought Floyd Mayweather in 2015, correct?
Mhm. Correct.
So we're talking about in 2000, what, 18, 19,
I
maybe
don't
20 is when he fought Danny Garcia. So
um
so so in those years, Miss T, I believe Manny Pacquiao was long gone away from Bob Arum. So
was
that's
he
all I'm saying.
was he
All I'm
with
saying that
Bob when he fought Thurman?
uh, I'm not sure. I think he had moved on once he fought anything after Pacquiao Mayweather. I think Pacquiao was gone from top right.
No, no. because he had some. I know he had some fights in China with people we don't remember, Bam Bam and somebody else or some
But
shit he had. You
nevertheless,
know.
Miss T,
Hmm.
you should be ecstatic that they waited, and this is the perfect moment for them to fight. It wouldn't have been as big, it wouldn't have been as lucrative for both fighters if they would have fought when Earl Spence was ducking them, quote unquote. So all in all,
Yeah.
it worked out for everybody.
Yeah.
We can blame Spence if we want to. We can blame Crawford. But I know one thing that I am gonna be right about. You can tell me I'm right, wrong about everything else, but I just want to be right about who wins. That's what
Right.
I care
Right. You
about.
know, I am happy that the fight here. And in the beginning of my program, I said, "But we here now." But only
Mm-hmm.
reason I bring up stuff because we couldn't get to the bottom of that, if you want to call it a debate. You know, people was thinking that I was shitting on Danny. Never did I. I'm a fan of Danny, and I never would look at Danny like he a slouch. He's not. Would I say he's elite? I don't know if I can say that. He's an A+ fighter or he's an A fighter. But I don't know if I would put him up there with elite status, especially in the 147 division.
But
But
yeah, go ahead.
but you know, if you gonna say those words and you have choices on the table, because it's strap season, right? And you should be going for the people with a strap, and you went backwards, because that is akin to going backwards, because he he picked somebody that got beat by the guy he just beat. So why go backwards? Oh, Bree Anna is in the building. What's happening, Queen? My friends are making me say hi, so here I am. Hi. For those of you who don't know, that's my baby. What's poppin', Queen? Well, princess. You know,
That's your
mama the queen. Yeah,
that's little T.
that's little T. That's little T right there. Look, this she a grown woman now, but I'm about to embarrass you, Bree. This what I see.
So you got that picture on there. Ready to
that, my,
go.
that my baby.
She got the whole
That's
little
her when she
thing.
was 15. That my baby. So she said hello. She said, I'm leaving now. Said hello. If your friends in here, tell them stop by and say hi. She said, stop. Look at her telling me stop. Bree, you know I gotta play that. You know I gotta show that, Bree. That my boo boo. But let me go on and take you down for you. But she'll tell me about myself later.
And Miss T, I heard you referencing before I say that, like your argument is on the technical side, which I love. That you're a great debater, so I see how you doing it today with this. But if you agree with if you can't agree with this, I already know what you're gonna say about this. When Derrick James said that T.O. Teofimo was 2 times undisputed at 135 and 140. How do you feel about that statement coming from Derrick James? How do you feel about that?
Oh Lord. I'm not mad. But what do I'm gonna say? Stop the crap, Derrick James. But at the same time, that's a hard one because y'all know I was a fan of T.O. I know some people don't like T.O. Thriller. I know you don't like T.O. But T.O. he had help. You got the Max Kellermans in the world and all these powers that be in boxing calling you undisputed. And they just kept saying it. And then eventually what happened? He walked around feeling like he was. And then when you see a program that bring up the list, they don't put him on the list. And then Cambosos did the same thing. So when these guys won those belts, the only person that got a right to say it is Devin, because he was the regular champion. But when Cambosos and T.O. won, they did have a WBC strap. And the powers that be kept referring to them as undisputed. So what a young person gonna do? Now Cambosos, I held his feet to the fire a little bit more for saying it or believing the hype. Yo, all of them little boys to me, nothing disrespectful, but you a little boy to me, and or young man to me. At that time, T.O. was under 25 because I think he's 25 now. So, what you think a young man gonna do when everybody else is in your ear saying shh, shh, you undisputed, but Derek James saying that, you know better, Derek. But I ain't mad at him, for saying that. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Big Fish. I ain't.
Okay. Okay. So my next question: did you hear Roy Jones say the same thing? Did you hear that?
I didn't, but if you said he did, I believe you.
The great Roy Jones added to that. He talked down about them belts. He said, I don't care about all that. If you beat, he said T.O. beat the man in 135 and he beat the man in 140, which was Josh Taylor. So therefore, from a fighter's perspective, that's how we look at it. We ain't worried about all that belt stuff. So it coming from Roy Jones, I asked Mosquito Spray this same thing. Like Mosquito Spray said that because Derrick James was just saying that to slight Terrence Crawford, which could be true.
Mm-hmm.
But Roy Jones said that just that's his opinion. It didn't have
Mm-hmm.
anything to do with Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford, in my opinion. But he said pretty much the same thing. So I would like, for you to look at that next time I talk to you. We can, go back over it. I
Yeah.
don't want you to just go off what I say.
No, I
But he,
believe you. I believe. I see why they say that, but the fact of the matter is, he didn't. Devin had that regular strap, so that makes it a question. You can't
but
say you
can I
undisputed.
can I ask you this, Miss T? When
Sure.
Devin, okay, just go off of this time. Devin got emailed that belt. He wasn't even
Mm-hmm.
really considered a real legitimate champion.
Mm-hmm.
So those other belts, when they were won, that's why they were pretty much saying that Devin wasn't really respected as a champion uh, in at 135 until he beat Cambosis. And he still really didn't earn that respect until he just allegedly beat Lomachenko. So that's just on the technical side, like how you was making your arguments earlier about for Danny Garcia. Like I
Mm-hmm.
technically I understand what you're saying. That can be technically considered a tune-up because it's not a mandatory and it's not for a unification or anything like that. So that could be technically considered a tune-up. So
I feel
I
you. I feel you. But it's like this is why Miss T always be saying, "Don't open that door." Don't open the door to all this resume talk. Why would you put that in other fighters? They doing more than us. They doing more than any one of us getting in the ring, and we gonna call them nobodies and all that stuff. You say all the people that not you. I'm just saying you like in general. Um, People saying that Terrence ain't fought nobody, so this is what makes him substandard. But would you tell Green Machine to their face, or would you tell all the people that Terrence fought to their face, y'all ain't nobody? Why even go that route when it should be respect across the board? Like you could say a fighter is not known, he is not elevated to the elite level. There's all kinds of ways you can describe a fighter without calling somebody a nobody just to discredit Terrence Crawford. That's hate. That's hate, and that's just crazy. You hate for what? You know,
okay, Miss T, are you talking about a fighter saying that or a fan or both?
Fighters and trainers, like if you said about the email champ, that's kind of in that same vein because regardless of how he got that belt, he was the champion, right? He was the champion. It's not like he ain't got in the ring. It's not like people won't ducking him, so it appeared at 135. But I always say with Devin, they put the cart before the horse. I always feel like that because they big him up, and I have yet to see I have yet to see, and it came close with this fight with Lomachenko. This is a start, but I've yet to see time after time he in a fight that we know he ain't gonna beat. That's like Earl. When I see Earl fight, there's no hesitation, no second guessing in my mind. Everybody he was fighting except Sean Porter and Kell Brook, I would say. Did I ever think, no, Earl might not win? I thought that Earl was going to beat Sean, but when Sean fought him, I was pleasantly surprised at how that fight went. But I didn't know how I was going to go with Kell Brook. So, I mean, that's how I feel about Devin. Everybody Devin fought, he was going to win. Get in there with Shakur. Get in there with Tank. But I'm not slighting him in the least. He is an excellent fighter. And if he like that at this age, Lord have mercy, what he going to be at 28, 29, 30? That's how I look at Devin. But I'm not ready to crown him like that because here he is. He holding all the belts. And nobody think he's the best in the division. And I know I'm not alone in that. Like, who you got beating, Devin or Shakur? Which one you would pick?
Who beating Devin and Shakur?
Between Devin and Shakur.
Who would win that fight?
Yeah.
Shit, I have to say, I think it'll be a tough fight because I don't think Shakur, has been tested out that much. But I think just on the eye test, I would pick Shakur. But I think it would be a close fight.
And you should, when you undisputed, nobody should be having those type of thoughts. You should be like, this dude cleaned out that division. He is the shit in this division. He the king dingaling up in this bitch. Aaron Smith, welcome to the building, king. He said Manny was no longer with Top Rank. Pac signed a 2 to 3 fight deal with PBC, if I'm not mistaken, when fighting Thurman Ugas. Give Errol credit for coming back from the dead and taking out Danny Boy. Listen, I can't, because then I got to give everybody in boxing credit. You know how many boxers come back from something big? You don't hear me talking about what Terrence came back from, a shot to the head. But Aaron,
Come on, man.
what we was talking what we was talking about, Aaron, was the time when Earl fought after the car accident and he was fighting Danny. Was Pacquiao with Bob at that time? That's what we're unsure of. Because I want to say he was. Big Fish said he wasn't. I can honestly say at this point I ain't sure, but I could have sworn he still was. Can't see me, Cena. What's popping, King? Said Derek James said at the press conference that Crawford was pound for pound number one. Yeah, he did. Walter Tran, welcome to the building. He said Porter stoppage was a fugazi one. Not on current Terrence part, but go ahead, Big Fish.
Oh, my bad. Keep going. My bad.
Nah, I'm done. I just read there. Okay.
I was going to say, I have never been more proud of Errol Spence. I can't remember if it was the first press conference or the second one where he spazzed out on Terrence Crawford. Like, man, I can't take this. Who he be? Who he versus be? I was like, man, Errol Spence sounds just like me, Miss T. Oh man,
I was proud of both of them, believe it or not. They both corny to me. They both corny, and they both got a lot to learn. But I'm glad they coming out. They coming out the closet, not in that way. Not how do I say pause or whatever. Let me say a better way. I'm glad they're getting their feet wet and speaking out. You understand? You get it?
Well, try one more, Miss T.
Is feet wet inappropriate?
Oh no. Oh no.
Get their feet wet and
it just depends on what website you on. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know, y'all. See, it's so much shit that's inappropriate these days. I'm just saying, I'm glad they are out speaking, to different media venues, trying to sell the fight. And I think $1 million worth of game. I think Gilly said he gonna call it 1.8 million. Um, and when they was talking about this gonna be like the second or third, they said it on there that highest gate. No, in order for you to be anywhere near that, Floyd
Yeah,
did 4.6 million. I think his highest.
yeah,
You ain't catching that.
Miss T, if Earl wouldn't have followed his plan that he laid before us, they would have probably got about 300,000 buys if he would have fought when Miss T wanted him to.
Nah, I can't give you what your brother say. You can't go to the Pro Bowl with that. No, no. To me, handle
That,
business.
how can
Handle
that
business.
you can't argue that though, Miss T. They would have sold less. They would have made less money. They wouldn't have had a
Who?
$10 million guarantee apiece. We know this. We could almost bet our life on that it wouldn't have been this big. Because they weren't as popular then as they are. And they've been making us wait and wait and wait and get mad, get happy, get mad again. Now we ecstatic to the point where I think it's gonna do about 2.5.
The only part that I'm gonna give you is it might not have been this big, but getting their biggest paycheck, 10 million or more, because we don't know the exact number. We just know it's 8 figures, and the least 8 figures number is 10 million. But we can't
Yeah,
say that because Bud just made 10 million. At least y'all
that that
forget.
that's what. I ain't gonna get into that.
Y'all be forgetting that. Y'all be
We know it.
conveniently forgetting
Hey,
that.
no, okay, no, I get into it. Okay, if they gave him guaranteed 10 million, we know he ain't getting no. It ain't no back end coming from there, right? We can agree to that. We can make
Yeah,
that
yeah. I
assumption,
mean,
right?
well, we can
So
make that assumption,
okay, okay, so
but I,
that makes sense, right? That makes sense. And we'll say 11 or 12 to be nice. Okay, so
yeah, we don't
with
know
that
what
being
they getting.
established, he's
Mhm.
gonna make way more right now than 12 million. And back then, they might have made 12 million apiece 2 years ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, when everybody was asking for this fight.
I mean,
That's no doubt in my mind.
it's good for them. We happy. This been a good year so far with boxing and everything. It remains to be seen how the year plays out. But yeah, and it was sucked last year. Boxing sucked last year, but you gonna always. I'm gonna tell you, the past matters. I did a show on this. The past do matter because whoever wins, because I'm looking at it like this, and y'all can say it either way. If Spence wins, right, all them lies, what's her name say, Destiny say, all them good lies and alibis,
What
y'all gonna
line?
bring it back up again. Y'all gonna bring it back up, and y'all gonna be like, I told you. See, I told you when he said this and when he said that. And so my job that sometimes I take upon myself, unsolicited, ain't nobody asked me to. But when I see them drop nuggets, I don't care who you are. when Bud, I've said some unfavorable things about Bud, but I don't consider them unfavorable. I spoke the truth. When I was doing that thing way back then, when the Daniel Canahan thing first came out, and I was like, these are the people that was on that list, and I put Bud name. I could have kept Bud name off the list. I forgot which show that was in, but I showed the list of people who um, who had some kind of connection with him. I never said that Bud hired the man or anything like that, like some of the other channels did, and swore by it. And then I never said, oh, the fight didn't get made last year because his affiliation with Daniel Canahan, which was an outright lie. I mean, but true enough, if we'd have had it earlier, as big as this fight is gonna be, it wouldn't have been that back then. But as far as could it have been something else? Yeah, if you'd have had the fight back then maybe Spence would have won. Maybe Bud would have won. But maybe they would have went on and be bigger than life now. Because look at Tank. He fight Ryan Garcia And look how big he is. Ryan Garcia elevated him to that, and know everybody at 135 who is a top tier fighter know that they can beat Ryan. But Tank
Tank,
fight him, and all of
yep.
a sudden he can face a boxer.
Tank elevated Ryan to the Miss T. You gotta say it the other way around.
Yeah, he got Tank got some. I mean, Ryan got some benefits from it too, but because Tank did what he did, he's now the face of boxing because he fought Ryan.
Yeah, pretty much. And he associated with Floyd Mayweather, the PBC, and Al Heyman, who know how to make superstars. So
Do you agree with that he's the face of boxing?
I like he's my favorite. He's him and Errol Spence are my two favorite fighters. Put them in any order you want to. So realistically, to me, Canelo is still the face of boxing, but they're not far behind. Canelo's time is coming to an end pretty soon with these little moves that he making right now. He don't want to fight nobody now.
No, he don't.
That need to be the next target from Bud Buddies and Earl Sexuals
Mm-hmm.
need to unite against the Saul Sexuals and get this dude up out of here, man.
The side look, I was gonna call him a pervert. My bad.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't I can't unsee that shit he when he was dancing with his daughter. I will never look at Canelo with the benefit of the doubt. I just can't.
I ain't never known about that, but anyway.
Look,
But
look,
yeah,
why y'all
we
men
talked
be
about this.
shying away from
No,
conversation?
cause I don't not because I like just talking about the this is any sport like on like in this type of platform. I don't like talking about what people be doing. That's just me.
But he put it
It's,
out for the world to see.
yeah,
Boxing
it's like
Guy 7 said all they have to do is activate mandatory. Tank been in mandatory, never activated. Stevenson said after the fight, he was activating the Loma fight, bent over for a month. Bent over for a month. But you know what? Stevenson could activate mandatory with Devin. So we have to ask why not,
but
from what I understand.
hey, Miss T, this something else we used to kind of go at it at. That Showtime that came with a vengeance in 2023.
Mm-hmm. Until I see Paramount say, you know what? Never mind. Y'all keep y'all little show.
They should say it because they producing, right? They
Well,
should be
that's they doing, but
they
look
doing
what it took on the vein of getting canceled out. Look what it took. Shouldn't have. Why go down that road? You know what wins. These powers that be, they know what wins. The minute they start interjecting their will over the fans, and not giving us what we want, and injecting their will over their fighters. Like I'll turn down. Like Turn said, he came with the 25 million. Earl confirmed that happened, and then I'll turn it down. That's not a friend.
but this what I say, Miss T, where we have to account for, like it or not, in 20 all of 2020 and most of 2021, we were under a pandemic and sports was changed as we know it. So you have to take out those 2 years off the table for not producing any fights. And then 2022, this for everybody, not just the PBC. But now it
Mm-hmm.
seems
You blanked out. Hello? You still there, Big Fish? His thing probably just fizzled out. It'll come back. We can't hear you, so if I'm talking over you, I apologize. We can't hear you. Dan Tan is in the building. What's poppin', King? He said, salute Queen T. And, you got the fish, the little guppy on the pole. He said the lawsuit is still. Yes! That was another thing. Yes! D-Ray Promotions. Thank you. That was another nugget that dropped on Sway. I believe it was on Sway or which one, whatever one. So Jerry Tasker, where the hell you at, bro? Where the hell you at talking all that nut shit? When you was up in here talking about that shit is over, and you wanted me to Roger up to that bullshit. That's why, Jared, I be in your ass. That's why I be in your ass. Where you at, Jared? Because the minute you come on, I'm gonna bring that to your attention. You was in here trying to get us to get on board with you. With the man, you is man. Either you gotta be Bob Arum or his cousin. You some kin to Arum. Got to be. Because you was capping hard. He dropped that lawsuit. Turn said it ain't dropped. That was for you, Jerry. Aaron Smith said, who did Bud fight after getting grazed in the head by the bullet? A lot of people. You got to go, Aaron, you got to go all the way back to 135. Somewhere around there, 140. And he didn't get grazed. He never said, I got grazed. But that's how y'all want to describe it. Because he's incapable of going through, like I said, for y'all, he's incapable of going through something arduous and then coming back and doing remarkable things. Only Errol can do it. And if y'all believe that, that shows you how biased you are. Nobody's denying that Errol came back from a car wreck. Like that car wreck would have killed most people. But so is getting shot in the back of the head or on the side or whatever. Getting shot at, period. You know what I'm saying? But of course, we gotta minimize it because it's Bud Crawford. You gotta minimize it. But he gonna make y'all eat y'all words. But Aaron, did you have anything to say about what I said about the tune-up? Or what y'all got to say about the fact that Sean Porter said out his mouth the end of May that he was ready to retire before the Errol Spence fight. So what that mean now? Because when y'all was saying it was for Bud, that he was ready to retire before Bud, the narrative was he was half training and he had 1 foot in and 1 foot out. So what did he have when he fought Errol Spence? So can we say that he was half trained when he fought Spence, that he ain't giving his all, but Spence had a tough time with somebody who ain't giving his all? See, this ain't my logic. This is y'all Errol fans' logic. Look, E Thriller said, which one he said that on? E Thriller, go to the Porter Way podcast. He do an interview with Andre Ward. It was supposed to be on his Patreon, but he uploaded it to the regular podcast. You can go. I looked up on it. He put that it was an interview he did with Andre Ward before Andre's documentary came out. It was either the last day of May, somewhere around there, or the first day of June, because it was a couple of days later. Andre Ward's documentary came on, which we know that came on the 2nd or the 3rd of June, one of those days. He said it, Andre, and somewhere in the middle of the interview, if you scroll to the middle, Andre talked about what led up to his retiring. And then Sean Porter chimed in and talked about his. And I mean, went in depth, E Thriller. So all that bullshit about, Sean Porter was half-ass or half-cocking it when he fought Terrence Crawford because he had 1 foot in and 1 foot out, then I guess that's what it was with Errol Spence. And Errol had a tough time with somebody who was half-trained, half 1 foot in and 1 foot out. He wanted to retire way before Errol Spence. That's what he said. And he made Errol Spence fighting him be the benchmark. That's what he said. He talked to his wife. And when he finished the fight, he was like, that's it. I'm done. And then he said when he was talking to God, as we all do, that God let him know, nah, you ain't done. You got one more. He said he got up frustrated, like, who else? And then it dawned on him, I got to fight Terrence. So, keep that same energy. He said, you just threw an alley-oop. Yeah. That's why I love them doing interviews, because they be dropping nuggets. Yeah. He said, well, I'll be damn. I'm going to check it out later. It's right there. It's right there. Like I said, I normally check out Porterway podcast when he have some like relevant guests or something like that. I like his show. I like his little setup. But E-Thriller is just going to be him and Andre. That other dude and all them, they wasn't there. Just him and Andre. Dan Tan said, salute E3. He said, Dan Tan, my man. Yeah. Yeah. Where the sexuals at on that one? Let me see. Because you know what? Even if I knew that he wanted to retire before Errol fight, I wouldn't have said nothing. It wouldn't have made a difference. It'd have been something that I knew. I wouldn't have been like, that's why Sean lost. That's why he failed. Because he got tired. He ain't giving his all. He won't do it what his daddy say do. Y'all can't just simply get a man a compliment and say he beat his ass better than Errol Spence. All that to say, to not to have to say he beat him better than Errol Spence. They tie themselves in knots just to do that. And when Sean Porter got knocked out better than what Errol could do, got stopped. Ain't nobody ever stopped Sean Porter. And then like you gotta think about what you're saying about him. You questioning this man's heart. You're questioning this man's integrity. When has Sean Porter showed anybody in the boxing world that he don't have heart and integrity and that he half-ass come in the ring? And who in their right mind gonna come in a ring with Terrence Crawford half-ass? Who gonna do that? How you say it, E-Thriller? Let me know. I'll wait. I will fucking wait in my E-Thriller voice. Because you ain't going to find that. That shit, that was one of the most pissed off narratives that I had. I was like, come, are you serious? Y'all going to go so far as to say that? It's bad enough. Y'all call all his opponents nobodies. Now you going to say that? And Earl, my man, you still with that same narrative about his resume and the Sean Porter thing, even though you saw it. I know you saw it. I know you saw it. Everybody ears and eyes gonna be on people like Sean Porter and Kell Brook with this fight looming over our head. Everybody, because that's the two people they got in common. You know, and now Sean Porter has come out, not in that particular interview, but I heard recently that he's come out and gave the edge to Crawford. Now, yes, Sean Porter be wavering and going back and forth and all that. We know what that's about. Like Kell Brook, what did Kell say after the fight ended with Crawford? Whole lot seemed like a whole lot different than what he's saying now. I think Errol got the most power. I edge Errol. He probably still got shit on his fingers from when Amir Khan and him was fighting. And Amir Khan was in Crawford and Bomac, domain, under their domain, when Kell Brook and Amir Khan faced each other. It probably still got some hurt feelings over that. Of course he said that. But if he said that, you know what? I'm not even going to make excuse. That's his opinion. I ain't mad at it. But I be like, really, Kell Brook? Really? Now, what I want to know is, here's the thing. They be like, Kell Brook, he came down, he drained himself to get to 147 to fight Errol for the belt. And then I guess from what, and Errol said this, he fought 3 fights at 154. Now, I don't know this. I didn't even look it up. But anybody in the chat know? Because I thought he fought 3 fights at 147. But maybe he fought at 154. But he fought 3 fights and he won. Of course, it's because it's not somebody that you know and not somebody who's on the tizoob on the regular. You gonna say the people he fought won't nothing. That's what y'all gonna say. But that's just not true. Y'all gotta get out this habit of calling people nobodies and shit. He threw and said, "Oh man, I need some answers tomorrow night." Indeed. Who specifically did he fight next? I don't know. Look it up, shawty. It don't matter. He fought 3 people. Even Earl said that. I know you hang on to Earl word, and I'm not being disrespectful when I say this. With all due respect, Aaron, that's your guy, and I'm cool with that. But you hang on to his words. He said 3 fights, so that should be good enough for you. D. Ray said 54, so I guess he fought at 54. But he had 3 wins. I mean, how much work you got to do to come from 54 to 47? If you're a fighter out there and you're not managing your weight even after your fight is over, like in between fights, shame on you. I would expect this from people 24 and below years of age. I don't expect this from no seasoned veteran or somebody who been fighting for a while or damn sure in their 30s. Father Time is undefeated. You best believe that. Everybody go down here once they hit 30. He said Crawford had a friend in Sean. That don't got nothing to do with it. He still knocked his ass out. Plus, Terrence had a chance to game plan after the Spence fight. Terrence had been on the same narrative from the jump. Give me that fight. Earl was cool with fighting Pacquiao wrong side of the street. He was cool with fighting Jeff Horn as soon as he got the belt. The WBO was something then. And but once Crawford got it was like it had the cooties. It was contaminated and shit. As far as like somebody asked me earlier what I think about the Kuta Kinte remark, I'm not tripping. Kuta Kinte was a bad motherfucker, wasn't he? Don't we all know that's one slave out of millions that we do know about? You know, Alex Haley. I found you, Kuta Kinte. We should all be so brave and all that stuff. That motherfucker won't give it up. They had to chop his foot off. But that's in line. But see, this is what I mean by Earl. You kind of put your foot in your mouth. I'm not mad at Earl. But, this he'll have to just learn. He's on a learning curve. You say Kunta Kinte, but all your YouTube buddies was saying Toby. And that was egregious. That was egregious to even, say that about that man. It's kind of one of the like some of the remarks like that is why Miss T got a channel today. Cause I can't take it. I mean, how much y'all can put this man down for daring to dream where he can't fight your precious Earl? He can't go for the same thing Earl want. He got to get in line. This a beauty contest or a boxing contest? What is it? Nah. Your boy, y'all was wrong. Y'all had to eat y'all words. I proved the point tonight. I'll drop the link one more time, and if nobody want to come through, I'm good because I proved that point. He was in the bed saying he wanted Crawford, but they did something else. Remember, I'm gonna fight November 19th regardless. No, you won't. 1, you was out of shape at that time, and 2, you and your team went, because I'm gonna say you and your team because you gave them carte blanche, authority, went to the WBC November 14th. That is 5 days before the 19th, to actually get the Keith Thurman fight at 154. But y'all was wrong on how the fans was gonna take it. Then he said, I've been doing what I said I'm gonna do this whole time. I said it was strap season. Well, when you throw Danny in there, then you wasn't doing what you said you was gonna do. I get it. You like to spin that narrative and say you want people to see you. Now I ain't saying you're an all outright liar, but you the one who be saying this shit. I'm gonna get all my belts. After you get your belts, then the next person is Terrence. Or if it's strap season, go for somebody with a strap. Danny didn't have a strap. Danny just got beat by the guy you just beat. That's going backwards, my friend. And compared to Danny Garcia, compared to Terrence Crawford. One, that come off like a duck. Two, Danny didn't have a strap. And three, by your own logic, it's a tune-up. And none of y'all can explain that. Y'all want to talk about Sean and Crawford being friends, or everything that don't matter. Can't explain it. Big Fish gave a good account, but in the end of the day, nobody told Earl to say that. Tune-ups is a valuable tool in boxing that boxers have. You don't know what can sit you out. Family problems, injury, anything can sit you down. It is not unreasonable to take a tune-up. Not for Bud, not for not for Spence. I don't care what fighter you name, elite or not. It is not unreasonable to take a tune-up. But we had to go through all this braggadocious. This is why they think he a killer. That's why his fans get delusional. Because only Earl will never take a tune-up. And then that motherfucker said, hocus pocus, alakazam, poosh. And he took a tune-up. That's some funny shit to me. I don't know about y'all, but that was some funny shit. He said, your boy getting credit for fighting leftovers. See, again, this is that delusional shit. Aaron, what is a leftover? Before I dig in, let me shut up. Before I get at you, what is a leftover? Explain to the chat what's a leftover. Because maybe I'm confused. But I think I know what you mean, but I'm going to let you explain that. What's a leftover? Just put it in the chat. High consciousness, welcome to the building. He said that's facts. What's a leftover, Aaron? While we all waiting on Aaron to tell us what a leftover, do anybody else want to help him out? Anybody want to help Aaron out as to what's a leftover? Because I know Aaron don't know what he's talking about. Sorry, Aaron. I ain't trying to be funny. I'm calling balls and strikes. I'm going to put that on the t-shirt. I'm calling balls and strikes. We're waiting, Aaron. Before I check you, I want you to explain. And I ain't mad at you, Aaron. We just on here talking shit. The closer we get to the fight, everybody gonna be talking shit. I'm talking shit too. High Consciousness said, "Who gets a leftover?" Aaron he's not gonna explain himself. He's just gonna say idiotic shit like that, and that's what it is, Aaron. It's idiotic shit. D-Ray Promotion said, "Why wouldn't he go knock Sean Porter out?" Mm-hmm. Oh, look, look. I've been. My daughter said, "Move the t-shirt." What y'all want? Her friends up in here. There y'all go. That's how Miss T normally talk. Aaron, we waiting on you. Cat got your tongue? See, Aaron gonna put out something idiotic like that, but he not gonna explain it. But I guess I'm gonna go ahead and explain for you, Aaron. I'm gonna go ahead and help you out. A leftover is what he's saying, a fighter who has lost. Any fighter who has lost, or he could be saying, he can't really be, I take that back. He cannot be saying Bud is fighting um what's his name? Earl's leftovers. So what leftovers is Earl fighting? Because to my knowledge, if I can recall, Sean Porter was beat by Kell Brook first. I think that was his first loss. He was beat by Keith Thurman. Was he? Did he lose another fight? Trying to think. But more than one, Sean Porter's a leftover. So Errol Spence, so defiant and so committed to not fighting Keith Thurman, but he'll fight Keith Thurman leftovers. You see how that work, Aaron? Kell Brook, you know, was a leftover because he had a loss. It doesn't matter if he fought in a different weight class with Triple G and took that loss. He had a loss. So when Errol Spence fought him, Errol Spence fought an injured Kell Brook, and Kell Brook was a leftover. In fact, Aaron, name me, I don't know, 5 undefeated fighters that Errol Spence fought in his career. It seemed like to me, he's the king of leftovers. Let me help you out. Let me see if I can bring Box Rack up so we can see. So Miss T don't be talking out the side of her neck. Let me see. Let me see. Errol Spence. Let's see what the man been doing. Let's see. Come on, bring it up. Okay, he gotta put a picture up there for himself. Come on, this thing moving slow as hell. Okay, I don't know what's going on. That can't be it. Errol Spence Jr. Okay, I was gonna say, what the hell? All right, let's go. Let me get back to StreamYard and present share screen. Let's see. All right, so y'all see, I pulled up the box recs of Errol Spence. You can't get mad at me. I ain't pull this out my ass. So Jonathan Garcia, 3-3. I don't see no 3-0. Let me see when he got to fighting somebody who was undefeated. When was his first undefeated fighter? Carlos Ocampo. We remember that fight in 2018 where the Nutcracker, aka Errol Spence, knocked Carlos Ocampo out with a body shot. That was his first undefeated fighter. Then he fought Mikey Garcia. That makes 2 undefeated fighters. Y'all don't want me to pull up Buzzbox, right? Because you already know. Then you stroll along. That's it. Carlos Ocampo and Mikey Garcia. That's it. Otherwise, Errol Spence's whole resume is full of leftovers. That's why I say it's idiotic, Aaron. So I'm going to back my shit up with receipts. He said high consciousness. If they fight the same people, they leftovers. When he beat undefeated fighters, they was just bums. That's the narrative. Yeah. They so are losers. They really going to be crying because I'm going to tell you, I'm gonna have a good time. It's been a long time coming, and guess what? If they win, they gonna have a good time, and I'm gonna have to sit here and take it for about a day or two. Nah, I'm gonna let y'all have y'all fun. It's just boxing. At D-Ray Promotions, he changed his mind and decided to beat Porter at his own game. Yeah, like and I don't know too many people that be like, I was fighting his fight. Do I need to? Hey, Aaron, do I need to bring up Terrence Crawford's box rack? Your boy's whole career is predicated on leftovers. Now, listen. I gotta throw it in your lap because you know why? You try to put it in our lap. And here's the thing. Y'all the ones that bring it up. I never saw Errol Spence as a person who fight leftovers. I never looked at him like that. But y'all bring up shit like that and you try to put it in Terrence's lap or in Terrence's fans' lap, which make us turn around and have to put it back in your lap. I never saw Errol Spence as a fighter of leftovers. I saw him as a great fighter. Point blank, period. That's it. That's all. Never saw him as that. And to the folks who said, I don't know what y'all want to see, they tell me, my daughter's friends up in here, what's up, people? Yeah, I said, take down the t-shirt. Go on over to that website and copy all the t-shirt. Get ready for Christmas. But yeah, that's it. That's all. You guys bring up that he fighting leftovers. I never did. In fact, I don't think too many bud buddies out there did call it leftovers. But that's the narrative y'all want to spin. And guess what? Once again, you're projecting. Y'all are projecting. What else do you call that? When the shoe really fits you and not the other person. What do you call that? I call it projecting. Somebody cooking something down there. So let me see. Terrence Crawford. So two, he got a lightweight on his record as undefeated that he fought, and the dude that he knew he was gonna beat. We all didn't hear. Now, although Ocampo came back and made a good showing of himself when he fought Fundora, I give him that. But we didn't know who Ocampo was. We didn't know. Why is this doing that? It won't let me pull up Bud Crawford. I don't know what's going on. No, they won't let me pull this shit up. But like I said, Ocampo came back. He lost the fight to Fundora, but he put up a good one. He showed that he really did have skills. And this brick wall that nobody can seem to break down when they fighting Errol, that's because he a nut digger, Aaron. If you never been to my show, and this is not me putting on for you, this is Errol Spence too. For those of you who never been here before, meet Errol Spence Jr., aka the Nutcracker. Because he will go to your nuts before he start trying to body snatch and knock you out. That's what he do. Can't say he don't. I'm so confident in this, you can't say he don't. You can go back and look at the half a minute that he fought Ocampo and count the low blows. Why y'all sitting up there acting like this is just a coincidence? It's not. That's his MO. That's what he does. Okay? That's how he gets down. But, it is what it is. I think I proved my point. Aaron, you got quiet on me. It's all love, brother. May the best man win that night. I just happen to think it'd be Terrence Crawford. You happen to think it's going to be Errol Spence. But You guys open yourself. This is one of them things where y'all say things and you open yourself up to to scrutiny because that don't make sense. Your boy is getting credit for fighting leftovers. Are you projecting or just straight up lying? Like which one is it? Because it's your boy who have only 2 undefeated fighters on this record. So he's fighting leftovers. He's made a career out of fighting leftovers. You cannot say that about Bud Crawford. You just can't say it. Can't even say it. In every division that he's fought at least one undefeated person. We know it's more, but we can say at least one. That's three. That's three right there. Yo boy been in one division, and the 2 undefeated people that he fought was Carlos Ocampo and fucking Mikey Garcia. Everybody else that he fought was a leftover. But your statements say your boy getting credit for fighting leftovers. Y'all see what I'm saying? Anybody else who's watching this, I don't know why my box rec shut down just now. Go look up box rec. It's free. Box rec. It's free. And type in Terrence Crawford and count the number of undefeated fighters that he fought. We can go in each one. We can say when he got the title, I think in 135, I think it was Ricky Burns or somebody. I think he was undefeated. We can say Yuriorkis Gamboa at 135 was undefeated when he fought him. I'm sure there's a couple of more, but we'll move to 140. We can say that the Ndongo fight when he became undisputed at 140, dude was undefeated. We can say I think Victor Postal was undefeated. It might be one more or whatever. We can go up to 147. I think Jeff Horn was undefeated. Who else? Mean Machine was undefeated. You see how I'm doing that? Aaron, your boy can't say none of that shit. I just named 6 in his career. And your boy only fought 2 undefeated fighters. Everybody else he fought was beat before. So you expose yourself on that one. Dan Tan saying, I think Larte was undefeated. That fight was at 154. Well, we give him credit for that. 3 people. Excuse me. Sorry. Miss T won't be in ladylike at that moment right there. Sorry, y'all. I couldn't control it. But yeah, you just expose your hand. This is what we call delusion. You projected what you know of your boy onto Terrence Crawford, and you don't need. If I ask you why you don't like him, you're gonna say something like, because he had signed, he would re-sign with Top Rank. Because you're gonna say things that just don't make sense. I guess your phone died or your device fizzled out or something because we was waiting on the answer. Well, Aaron, don't be a stranger. You got good company over here. We got some Errol fans that come to the show frequently. Matter of fact, one of the dudes I be co-hosting with, he going through something right now. Shout outs to ATL Unanimous. He's a big Errol fan, and he's you got him. He be on here all the time. You got a whole lot of Errol fans over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling balls and strikes straight down the middle. We just exposed you. What you just said was idiotic. And it's not fair. And this is what y'all been doing for years to Terrence Crawford. And this is why so many channels have sprung up to just be fair, give a fair, balanced way of looking at stuff. You just projected what your boy doing. Here I go with the t-shirt again. So look, y'all see the yellow sign down the bottom. AskMeT51.com. Go get your undisputed t-shirts. It's gonna look something like this. That's the one for Bud. Earl got one too, and it's nice. Ain't no Bud got a nice one and Earl don't. They both got one that say Undisputed 2023. If it was on a black shirt, this is what it'll look like. That's up close, how it looks. Earl's is done the same way, but he got the big fish and his name under like that. So go cop your t-shirts while you can, while supplies last. And just, if you see something else in there you like, go on and cop that too. I'm gonna tell y'all a hint and a half. Go on and get y'all ladies this, because every girl that I asked about this shirt, they said they liked it. Every girl. Everybody said this was the hot ticket item right here. So go to AskMeT51.com and go in there, shop till you drop. Fellas, I thought about y'all too. Ain't y'all spicy? Y'all so spicy. Hashtag sauce. You know what I'm saying? Put your muscles out. Y'all to get ready for the summer and show them guns. Show me what you're working with. Show me what you're working with. Hashtag saucy. Go on and cop that. But I'm so glad we had this time together. And my Carol Burnett voice. Some of y'all don't even know who Carol Burnett is. But anywho, yeah, Errol Spence, good looking out, because you in speaking, you do confirm some things. And guess what, y'all? It's not the end of the world. He put his foot in his mouth. I've been telling y'all that. That's all he do. He getting better and he trying. So look, kudos to Errol Spence for trying not to put his foot in his mouth, but he always do. And the truth is better. It's not the end of the world. So what? You were scared a little bit, or you didn't want to fight turns. I mean, it's life. Let me not say scared. Let me say concerned. You should be concerned. Turns should be concerned about fighting you, but it shouldn't stop you from going through with it. You the one who gave carte blanche authoritative power to others over your career. You did that. So it always come back to you, because you was a grown man in the situation. But anywho, ain't nothing else to say. Anybody else want to say something before I pull on my earlobe and say, I'm so glad we had this time together? I'm pulling on my earlobe. You can't see it. But in my Pamela James voice, peace.